You are speaking to us. You're muted, though. I'm confused.
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's session on our first Thursday, our monthly
Bonsoir tout le
knowledge sharing
monde.
session.
Bonjour tout le monde selon votre position géographique.
And today, we'll be discussing on building agribusiness teams, strategies for hiring, managing, and developing talents in the agri-food sector. And this topic is very paramount in our day-to-day activities, as most of or the entrepreneurs on this call have a team of workers, a team of staff that we engage on our day-to-day activities. And today, before we start the session, is our usual practice to let you know that in the in the chat room is our language interpreters who are also here to engage you in French. So you are a French speaker, you are a French audience, you are a French participant. Do not be scared because we have our language translators on the call to also engage you in French. So this is a step-by-step guide for you to be able to participate in this program as well in French. First of all, you have to log in into the Zoom account and mute your audio as you enter. For you to be on this call, you've passed through that step. Also, as you're on this call now, you click on the interpretation button that is appearing on the fourth right from your side and select your language. If you prefer to hear just the English language or the French language, you have to make one mute. You have to mute the original one and listen only in the language you prefer. So you will be able to hear clearly what the speaker is saying or what the language translator is saying. Please note that for you to be able to access this feature, you must be joined by your computer audio or you download the Zoom app on your mobile to participate because this feature is only available on both your computer or your downloaded audio app. It is not available for telephone dial users. And yes, for today, our agenda is we have the welcome address, we have the housekeeping rules, we have the pulse check. We also have connecting with AFC where we engage our audience about what we do at African Food Chain Makers, the membership community, and we already outlined opportunities for you to benefit from the AFC Hub. Then we move into the speaker session, and we also allow the speaker to speak and interact with the audience. Then we close for the day and take our group photograph. It's our usual custom that we let you know our housekeeping rules for today's session. Then we know that this is an engaging interaction and also an engaging effect for our audience. And we express that you use the expression button, such as the raise your hand up or the thumbs up to wave and let's contribute to the call of the to contribute to the discussion topic. So if you have any questions, if you have any observation, you have any feedback, let the speaker know that you want to interact by raising up your hand. And we also encourage all participation in these events. All attendees will be able to participate in all relevant phases of the event. To participate, you can kindly use the chat box or contribute to the question by raising up your hand as well. And for communication, we are allowed to speak during the Q&A session and the breakout session. Kindly respect the group's time and keep your comments brief to the point. And also, if you are not allowed to speak or interact, do not unmute yourself unnecessarily or disturb the audience with the unmuting feature and your video feature. You'll be allowed to speak when you are intended to speak. Then in terms of posting, the posting and the chat engagement is restricted to only the discussion topic. So if you have any other related discussion or issues or link that is not related to this discussion for today, please refrain from posting such in the group as the group admin will be able to remove you if we observe or notice such attitude. Then let's come to today's discussion. Let's meet. Please introduce yourself in the chat box with your name, with your country, with your agribusiness. Let's meet our participant for today. Feel free to connect with like-minded entrepreneurs as well. So introduce yourself in the chat box using your name, your country, your agribusiness. I'll go first. So my name is Nosa Obano. I work as the membership officer at African Food Chain Makers, currently in Abuja, Nigeria, and we work to enable entrepreneurs scale their businesses. So we can also use that format in the chat box using your name, your country, your agribusiness. Let me see who our audience are for today. So let me go to the chat box and see. Okay, thank you so much. I can see Simon from Uganda. Welcome, Simon. We have a lot of chain makers from Nigeria. Ezekiel from Nigeria studying agriculture. Welcome on board. Thank you for joining us, Martin. Thank you. I can see a lot of entrepreneurs on the call. Thank you, Kayode Salako from Nigeria. He's into broiler production and processing. So while we keep the introductions coming, we also include our pulse check. So as you're introducing yourself, let us know how your day went. Some of us are closing for the day, while some of us are starting for the day, depending on where you're joining from. So let us know, are you closing the day happy? Are you in the day? Are you feeling happy? We are currently in a new month. So what are our plans for the month? You can use an emoji to let us know how you're feeling for today. Let us see the smiling emoji from others. Let us see this laughing emoji. Yeah, please keep the introductions coming as well. Thank you, Rachel from Zimbabwe. Yeah, I think we have a lot of non-Nigerians joining the call today. Okay, we have someone from Cross River. Marceline, it's good to have you back. Marceline is from Republic of Congo. Thank you for joining us today. Yeah, let's keep the introductions coming. I'm not seeing any emoji on the call. Yeah, finally. Thank you, Gloria, for smiling. We have Abiola Olaiton. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, let's keep the introductions coming. So we are moving on to the next agenda, the next line of agenda, which is connecting with AFC. And for this, for most of us, we're already familiar with what we do at African Food Chain Makers. But for our new members or new participants on the call, we would like you to stay tuned and watch the AFC introductory video, and so you can learn more about us before I have my colleague who will come and take the membership drive.
Hello, my name is Ndidiokong Kwamuneli, and I've spent most of my adult life trying to change narratives about Africa.
What struck me when I moved to the US was that the face of Africa was a hungry child. I'd go to dinner parties and people would say, oh, my mom used to say, finish your dinner, they're starving children in Biafra or Ethiopia or Eritrea. I'd see, pictures of these starving children in infomercials, in train stations, and it just made me so angry because that was not the face of Africa that I had grown to recognize in my own backyard.
The African food narrative is often misconstrued. What if we told you a different story? What if we showed you how Africa feeds itself and how Africa can feed the world? Meet the African Food Changemakers, a community of entrepreneurs changing the narrative about food in Africa. Watch how they do this through their small and medium-sized enterprises, which we believe are the lifeblood of the food ecosystem in Africa. But then, faced with the devastating impacts of climate change, global and local risks and shocks, and macro and microeconomic challenges, these entrepreneurs struggle to survive. Through training, funding opportunities, exposure, trade linkages, and a vibrant community fostering peer-to-peer collaborations, we're empowering entrepreneurs for global reach and recognition. Our programs and resources support climate resilience and adaptation, business development and entrepreneurship, gender equitable agri-food systems, international trade capacity building, and other key areas. With significant impact made since 2022, we are growing our community one agripreneur at a time and spreading our reach across the continent.
Hi, my name is Ngozi Roland Nonegonke. I'm the CEO of Sem Foods and Spices.
My name is Bayo Adewoye. I'm co-founder and CEO of Agrifood.
I am Chiamaka Wakalo Egemba, also known as Chef Amaka, the queen of Afrofusion.
My success story cannot be complete without AFC. AFC is the way to go. If you're looking for the right network, if you're looking for the organization that will support you, both in capacity building, both in holding your hands.
The PRAISE program has really impacted us in a large way. In the way we work, we actually work with smallholder farmers, and a lot of them are in the rural area. They don't have this understanding. So what we've learned through the PRAISE program, we're now impacting it to the smallholder farmers that we're working with.
There are certain things that I got from the leading African women in food fellowship under the African Food Change Makers. And one of them is the mentorship programs. Indeed, I can't wait to show the world everything that I've learned.
Only AFC can give you that opportunity. Don't miss it.
Join us to be a part of our community and support our vision of 1 million successful and sustainable African agri-businesses recognized and respected globally. African Food Change Makers, nourishing Africa and changing global narratives. Partner with us today.
We need to support small and medium-sized agri-food enterprises by creating an enabling environment for them, providing training, catalytic financing, enabling them to scale. We also need to support women-owned businesses, especially those run by young women. We must collectively build a food ecosystem that works not just for us, but for future generations. Join us.
Thank you so much. And yes, only AFC can give this opportunity for free. And moving on to the next, I would like to invite our membership team to come address potential members of the call and even our current members on the activities that we have on the hub, and now we can benefit from such activities. And in that note, I would like to introduce my fellow membership officer, Sylvester Barrow.
Okay, thank you very much, Nosa. Please confirm you can hear me. Okay, all right. Just like the last sentence he said, it is only at AFC that you can get all this for free. So here are some of the benefits or the opportunities you would stand to gain as a part of our community, as a member of our community. But before I go into that, for those who are already our community members, you can indicate by dropping in the chat box, I am a change maker. And for those who are not yet part of the community, you can also drop a message in the chat box. We would follow up with you after this call to ensure that you are part of the community. So here are a few opportunities for you if you are part of our member. Like the video has said it all, we help scale up agribusinesses, and we believe that small and medium-sized enterprises are the lifeblood of the ecosystem of food ecosystem of Africa. So we help strengthen and scale your agribusiness. We prepare your business to enter new African and global markets. We facilitate access to funding, speaking, and exhibition opportunities. And we also have a vibrant community of members across the world. There is a group where you come meet different people, either for mentorship or for trainings, and all of that, you just get them in one place. You get access to these vibrant community members. And we also give you access to the resource hub and the marketplace. And the resource hub is a place where we upload opportunities for you, ranging from funding to events, to capacity building, to events, and to data in which you can use to help to scale up your business. And the marketplace, just as the name implies, it is the marketplace where you come in you display your products, you buy and sell products from across the world. And we also enhance the visibility and we promote media engagement of selected agri-businesses. So time to time, we have social media platforms where we showcase or spotlight some of our community members. We just pick and say, okay, this week we're going to spotlight this person. This is what the person does and all of that. So you stand to gain that as part of our community. And then we also give you access to exclusive networking events. So as we all know, with networking, you go far. So if you meet this person, you might meet that person and that person is driving you to this place and connecting you with people that would help scale up your business. And we also give you access to global market linkages. So next slide. Okay, thank you. Okay, so very quickly, these are few opportunities that we have provided for you. Is a snippet of what we have. There are many more from where this came from. So this is a call for proposal for the CIPRA Challenge Fund. And the next is the Ignite Hub Bootcamp, which will be empowering women entrepreneurs for growth and innovation. And all this will be happening soon. So do ensure that you go to our opportunities page, look at these opportunities, click on them and make sure you attend them. So for the next one, for events, we have the Sahel Scholar Conference, which will be happening on the 10th of July, which is next week. So hurry up, go to the link and then click and join. And then the last one is a training course for you on climate smart livestock production. You don't want to miss this. So there are many more opportunities from where this came from. If you are part of our community member, you can just go straight to the opportunities page and locate them. So very quickly, I'll be guiding you on how to join the community or how to become a member of our community. So first off, you would want to pick up your system or your phone, whichever you'll be using, either your laptop, your phone, or your tablet. You go to your browser and type in www.afchub.org, or you follow the link that will be dropped in the chat box by my colleague. So once that has loaded, you click on join the community icon on the page. It is there boldly in the middle of the page. You click on join the community and then you get a drop down of questions that you are going to fill. And these questions, they require accurate answers. So answer them correctly, as this will help us to streamline the opportunities we'll be sending down to you. And once you're done answering these questions, please ensure that you click the submit button at the end of the page. Sometimes most people just fill the questions and maybe leave it at that, or click and it does not take you to the next page. But please make sure you click the submit button and make sure it takes you to the next page, which would show you that, okay, yes, you have successfully filled and submitted the questions, and you are going to get an email, a verification email, but your confirmation takes 24 to 48 hours before you will be fully verified as our member. And once that is done, you would also get an email, and you can go back to the AFC Hub, click on the login, which is at the top right corner of the website, and input your email address and your password, the password in which you choose for logging in. So once that is done, you can access your dashboard and many other opportunities that we have carefully selected for you. So now to the three criteria that you have to tick. You have to tick the 3 boxes before you'll be able to join our community. First, you have to own or work as a top management for an agribusiness. That is, whichever agribusiness, any value chain, it has to be an agribusiness, and you have to work or own an agribusiness. Then secondly, the agribusiness must be in existence for at least 6 months. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months. Your business must have been in existence for the past 6 months. And lastly, you have to have a social media presence. We all know how social media is pushing everyone these days, regardless of whatever you're doing. So you have to have a social media presence before you'll be able to join our community. So these are just a few steps on how to join our community. So the link will be in the chat box. You can click on it, and we would also be in the chat box should you encounter any issues in trying to register. And please note that this membership is free. You're not going to pay anything to become our member. It is absolutely free. So we're looking forward to welcoming you to our community, and do have a lovely session on this first Thursday. Thank you. Over to you, Nosa.
Thank you so much, Sylvester. And you've said it all actually. These are all opportunities that we share with our community members. If you're an agripreneur, you're making change to the agri-food sector in Africa, do well to join the community and also engage and network with other fellow entrepreneurs as well. So in addition to what my colleague Sylvester said, we have some other created activities in the community. Presently, we are looking at expanding more opportunities to our community members. And for us to do this, we need to know our members by getting more information about them. We need for our members to update their profile. So as a community member, some of our members there have been with us for over a year, over 2 years, over 3 years. Some of them are just joining us for the first time. So it is important that the information you provide to AFC are accurate and up to date so that as we engage with relevant stakeholders, relevant potential funders, we give them the right information about our community members and help them streamline opportunities that are tailored for you as well. So if you're a member on this call and you are yet to fill the survey that has been in your inbox for a while, and even in your DM for a while, please go ahead and fill that survey to provide us with the most accurate information about your agribusiness profile as well. And you can also alternatively do this on your hub. You have your membership dashboard where you can log in with your email and the password you created, as Sylvester have said, and you can navigate to your settings page and just update your profile from there. As you update your profile, you'll be sure to receive more information and more opportunities from the African Food Chain Makers team. Thank you. And yes, this is a good news for our members on the call, especially for those who are not yet aware of the BRACE program. The BRACE program is Building Resilience Against Climate Change and Environmental Shock, and this is to equip our entrepreneurs with the necessary capacity building information they need so they can be aware of the climate change that is happening and how they themselves contribute to climate change and also how climate change contribute to their businesses. So when you're aware of something, you can be able to tackle the problem. Through this program, we empower African entrepreneurs for sustainable growth and enhance their climate resilience. So the mission of the program is to build their skills beyond just the regular online channel. We also have post-program activities, study visits that our members or participants in this aspect can benefit from post the program. And this program is currently open, and the deadline for this program is on the 27th of this month. So please do well to apply for this program. And the good thing about this program is that it is free and it's available in both English and French for our participants and our audience. So I believe the link will be dropped in the chat box where our colleagues will drop them, and you can also follow the link to register for the program for those that have not participated in the program before. Yes, another good news for the membership team is that we have our unique membership referral. So we want to expand our reach, we want to grow our community, and we can only do this by your participation as well. So we encourage every member of the call to navigate or log into the dashboard, navigate to the settings page. Similar to where you want to update your profile, you will see your unique referral ID, which you can share to any potential member or the member that you are aware of, or any potential agripreneur in your network that you feel can benefit from our opportunities, our membership benefits as well. So you can do this in two ways. You can either copy this referral link directly and share with any other entrepreneur that you know of, or you can alternatively use the refer button on the top right of the dashboard and enter the entrepreneur's email. Then the email will be sent to the entrepreneur to join the community through your referral link. So those are the two ways you can contribute to the growth of the membership community and the growth of AFC's mission, which is to meet 1 million successful entrepreneurs by the end of 2030. Yes, now to the discussion for today. I think this is what everyone has been waiting for. And before I start, I would like to give a introduction to our speaker for today. This is someone that has been a member of the community as well and has contributed immensely to the progress of African food chain makers. And for our speaker, her name is Chidima Eze, founder of Farm CAS. Eze Chidima Mary is an agricultural development leader with over 8 years of experience advancing food security and poverty alleviation through youth empowerment, rural development, and climate smart agriculture. She is the founder of Farm CAS, an agri-HR firm, bridging skills and employment gap in Nigeria's agri-food workforce. Chidima holds a degree in agricultural economics from Ekiti State University and is pursuing an MBA in international agribusiness at Leeds University. As country representative for YPAD Nigeria, she supports over 3,000 young entrepreneurs, and through Africa's agri-influencers, she educates more than 20,000 people on agricultural value chain. Her work with Two-Scale Nigeria has empowered over 215 women and trained more than 3,500 youths. Chidima has received awards including the Bayer Youth Ag Summit First Runner-Up Award, the BAT Foundation's Farmers for the Future Award, and recognition from the Mastercard Foundation. Our mission is to drive agriculture as a tool for economic empowerment and sustainable development in Africa. And that is the reason why we're having her on the call for today, to come and empower our fellow members on how they can build their agribusiness such that other staff that they hire can also benefit from the knowledge and experience from her as well. So please help me with Southern Innovation. Help me welcome our speaker for today, Chidima Heze. Please, if you're on the call, kindly unmute and speak. If you're speaking, you are on mute.
Okay, am I audible now?
Yes, you are. I'm trying to bring up the screen.
All right, great. Thank you very much. It's amazing to be here, really. And like the speaker already mentioned, African Food Change Maker is also one of their communities that I have close to my heart. And then I've been going through the chat box, and I see that we have amazing people on call here across Africa and of course beyond. My name is Chidima Mary, and like the speaker already introduced, I am the team lead of FarmCast, which is an agricultural HR firm. Please, can you just go to the first slide? All right, so I am a farmer. I am into horticultural crop production, where I basically work with youth and women, training them on our best practice that ensure that at the end of the day, they have a better yield. Beyond that, also, I do more around I work more around HR operations in the agricultural sector. Next slide, which is where I focus on FarmCast. So what exactly is FarmCast, which is a baby that is very dear to me? FarmCast really is an agricultural HR company that we focus basically to tackle employment and skill gap challenge in the African agricultural sector. So backstory to FarmCast. When I started my farm, it was not really a big farm, really. It was roughly around 2 acres, and then I was doing tomatoes and lettuce and cabbage production in Ekiti State, that's Nigeria. And then I remember that it was very difficult for us to get farm workers, the one we regularly call, farm laborers. And we had to go as far as back then Benin Republic to get farm workers. We bring in farm workers from Benin Republic. And for those of us that are in Nigeria, I am sure that a lot of us are peculiar with this story, particularly those of us that farm in the southwestern part of Nigeria. You pay for their transportation to bring them down. If you are lucky enough, you're not duped. The agent is able to supply you the farm workers that you need. And then that means that, of course, you're paying for transportation, you're paying for accommodation, you're clearing border, and all of those payments. And none of this is guaranteed that the worker is skilled enough to be able to work with you. And it does not also guarantee that at the end of the year, or at the end of the day, right, that they will stay with you, because the agreement is usually that they stay with you to the end of the year. And so for me, I think I was lucky enough that I paid to the agent and I got my farm workers. But barely 2 months into production, the way they do now, they decided to pack their bags, pack their loads, and then they left farm. And for anyone who is into horticultural crop production, particularly tomatoes, you know already that is a disaster. Talking about this period also, there was no irrigation on our farm. So totally, let's just say I lost around 95% of my farm produce that period. And then at a point, of course, I had to shut down because of the mental stress that all of this goes through. And so that was where I started having this burning that what exactly is wrong with our food system, particularly when it comes to human resource services and or I spoke with other farmers, and then I discovered this was a regular trend. So aside the fact that workers are very scarce, if you pay to the agents, majority of them dupe you, or you send their transportation, they will not pick your call at the end of the day and all of those things. You bring your workers down, it's another challenge, to train them, to tell them what you need, and then they're able to carry it. Each and every of these things really was what baited farm cars, because we saw the gap, we saw the challenge, we saw what farmers are going through. And if we clamor for a food secure continent, a food secure nation, we cannot be food secure if, the primary production, which is where majority of every value chain activities take place, is at stake. If there's nothing coming from the farm, then the whole value chain is at risk. And that was what Beckett Farmcast. And basically our work here at Farmcast is to train youth with market relevant skill. We've noticed the trend of these are common job requests that are coming in onto our table. And so we get to train them on some relevant skill that ensure that they're able to deliver as expected. And of course, we recruit and match them to job talent as the case may be. So way beyond that, we do training. We also connect agribusiness owners to talents across the field, from both skilled and semi-skilled workers. So talks of the farm manager, agronomist, and all of those things. And of course, lastly is that we manage agribusiness operations. Now, you might ask or wonder, why are we having this section today, or why do we need to build a team in agribusiness? Of course, I've shared my experience with you. That is one of such experience, and I know a lot of us relate with that. But really, for you to be able to be successful in agribusiness, it is way beyond the product that you bring to the table. It is also about, the team that is able to drive this change. It's about the people that you are able to build. Because at the end of the day, one of the things that we've come to learn over time, particularly for those of us that have watched or have been attending this first Thursday, is that agribusiness and farming are two different things. If you want to be in agribusiness, you need to put systems and structures in place that ensures that they are running without you being present, or you being 100% present. Let me use that word. If you are not able to leave your business or your farm activities for like a day, 2, 3, and everything does not shut down, then you're not running an agribusiness. And so that means that you need to have system, you need to have people that ensure that what they are able to replicate on farm is what you will also replicate, or even better if you were on farm. And so that means that people build systems that we need to be able to scale, which is one of the most important things. If you want to scale, for some of us, right, you can, within your strengths, you can maybe do a plot of farmland, 1 hectare of farmland, or if you're into processing, the capacity that you alone will be able to process will almost, double or triple when you have more people that are working with you. So for you to be able to scale across board, you need to be able to build your team. For you to be able to also sustain your vision. So as we've known, one of the things that the agricultural sector has taught me personally is I alone cannot solve all of the problems in the agricultural sector. African food chain maker alone cannot solve all of the challenges in the agricultural sector. So for you to be able to sustain your vision, you need more people to join you, and of course to build legacy. And I had to highlight these 2 components here. For those of us that know, I know that a lot of us know Coca-Cola, the drink that majority of us, runs to, particularly if you are working on the field and you're exhausted and all of those things. But we see that Coca-Cola has been in existence for centuries, years now, right? But it's still at the peak of, they still produce, they are still relevant. The person, the founder of Coca-Cola is not here today. You see Coca-Cola, you go to another continent, you see Coca-Cola, you go to another country, you see Coca-Cola doing well and thriving well, because they've been able to build their team, because they've been able to build their system to ensure that, yes, the people on their team are able to carry out those activities and able to carry out well. For those of us that are in Nigeria or even outside Nigeria, you know about Okomu oil. One of the things that, skyrocketed, if you go to the Nigerian stock market today, Okomu oil is one of those companies that is doing amazing, turning billions of nairas, from just profits that they're able to make. And they're not the only one driving this change. So if you ask yourself, why do you need to build your team to be able to ensure that you achieve the change that you need? The first point, of course, like we have here, is that agri-food system is changing. When I came into, or even when I was studying agriculture, before I studied agriculture, what I knew about agriculture is changing. It's changing almost every day. Now we are contemplating about AI, is AI taking jobs and all of those things. Tomorrow is another thing. We are already in the technology era. And so for you to be able to be sporadic with the rapid change that is coming, from climate change, thank God we are okay. From our location, we have good weather this year, but last year it was not. We had areas or locations, that drought was excessive, rainfall was excessive, and all of those things. These are climatic factors that are affecting food system. So to be able to respond adequately to each of these changing factors or times or scenarios in the agri-food system is one of the reasons why you need to build your team. Another, of course, is that a lot of youth-led innovations or agribusiness are springing forth. And you know what they say about youth, right? They know the way to the trends. They know the way to catch their audience. They know the way to sell to their audience. And so if you do not adapt, if you do not change, if you do not build your team to be able to speak the language of what the present generation speak, then you are at loss. And then you see that at the end of the day, you fizzle out. And lastly, like I mentioned, talent is what builds systems for you that ensures that you are able to continue to drive innovations and all of those that you want to do. And then I have a quote here that says that you can have the best idea, but without the right team, it is just a dream. Idea without, action without team that is able to bring them to life at the end of the day is not able to drive anything. And of course, these are some of the challenges that, like I mentioned already, challenges that the agri-food system is facing, particularly when it comes to human resource. Already, we know that we have more aging population. And some of the challenge with the aging population is that, aside the fact that they do not have the strength to be able to carry out some of these agricultural tasks that needs to be carried out, they might not be trained, they might not be in tune, they might not know what the market is saying. And so at the end of the day, you see that we have more people in the more aged people in the agricultural sector, and agriculture is lacking. And of course, you know that there's always the rural urban migration, people looking for white collar jobs, a lot of young people who do not want to do anything related to agriculture, particularly for those of us who are into production or farming, as the case may be. We know that there's always that supply of seasonal workers. When there's dry season, a lot of workers are available to work, they're looking for work. But once the rainy season comes on board, then you see that workers are scarce. So some of the things that you might need to start asking yourself, do I have some of these things? Do I have some of these things affecting my agribusiness? And then how do I need to start building my team to be able to ensure that at the end of the day, I am able to make maximum profits and ensure that my team is built to be able to be resilient and drive innovation where it is necessary. And of course, one of the challenges that personally, as an HR person that I've experienced and seen over time, is you see a lot of people come into agri, probably because of the trends on how a lot of people are sharing their opportunities in agri, or how agri is being portrayed as attractive. You see a lot of
Hi, Chidima. Probably network. Okay. So so I think our speaker is having some network glitch. So while we wait for her to come back, I think it would be good to have a regular first Thursdays quiz. So I know we've not had this for like 2 sessions now, and most of us on the call are missing our regular first Thursday quiz. So is she back on the call? Okay. Hi, Chidima.
Hi, can anyone hear me?
Yes, we can now.
All right, thank you. Apologies. It's raining over here, so there's technical. We have network issues basically. Can we go to the next slide, please? All right, so like if you go through the theme of our discussion today, it is around building, agri-business team, particularly when we are looking at the area of hiring, we are looking at the area of managing, and of course developing the talents. So that means that how do we bring in people, how do we develop people that are with us, and how do we ensure that at the end of the day we're able to manage them well, because that is like the most important factor to ensure that at the end of the day the input you put in, you get adequate output. And if you look at our screen, you could see three reels rolling. This reel basically represents what I just described here: hiring, recruiting, and of course managing. I would say that if any of these reels remove at all, they do not function properly or adequately. And that is how all these three factors are very, very important and necessary to ensure that at the end of the day, you are able to get the maximum benefit from getting or bringing a talent on board. And so when we talk about hiring, there are a lot of things that goes into hiring. Of course, one of the things that a lot of us think about hiring is, interviews. But before we even think about interviews, right, we need to ask some basic questions before you say, okay, this and this and this is why I need to bring a talent onto my team. Can we go to the next slide? And the first action that we need to take really when we want to recruit, of course, or hire talent or bring in talent on board is to ask ourselves some questions. Please, next slide. Now, the first question that you will need to do is the previous slide, is to conduct a skill audit before you hire. And what do I mean by skill audits? Particularly, let's say for people that have some talent on board or staff, as the case may be, on board working with you already. Now, you need to conduct audit and say, okay, what are the strengths and what are the weaknesses of the people that are currently on your team? Or what skill do they have in particular? And then what are those skills that you think your business need at the moment that none of your team members are able to provide for you? For those of us that are particular or familiar with farm, I'll speak more around farming because I'm able to, give more context to it. When I hire people to work for me on my own farm, way beyond the fact that you're able to, do some things, I look at the extra skills that you're able to provide, even as little as, or as small in quotes as it is a laborer. So for instance, instead of having a large number of laborers that have, almost the same skill, it's better you bring in laborers with various experience. So say, for instance, you're bringing in your farm worker. One, for instance, might have experience, particularly when it comes to plumbing activities. Because, for instance, if you are doing irrigation and all of those things on your farm, there will be constant, plumbing activities that need to be attended to. Such person, for instance, automatically fill in for that road that needs to be attended to. There can be issues around electricity, attending to minor technical issues on farm or your agribusiness generally. These are some of the skills. And then you've now even come to the executive roles and all of those things generally. You're looking at, okay, what are the other extra skills? For instance, does a member of my team have experience, particularly when it comes to sales and marketing, even though they are not, in line in sales and marketing? Do they have experience when it comes to program management, for instance? Or have they gotten one or two experience around data analysis and all? if they have this experience, you might want to hold on hiring and train them further in that skill, such that they are able to work together and merge and merge those roles and ensure they are able to do well. If you cannot merge those roles, probably bring in someone else who can be able to attend to what they are doing, and then of course you give them that role. One of the things that this does for you is that you are able to look within yourself. One, you minimize resources that will be spent on bringing in new person, training them before they get acclimatized or get used to your system. Now, after you've discovered all of these things, or you've carried out what I call a skill audit, and then you discover that, oh, due to one reason, or for instance, you don't have, or your team does not have a particular talent, a particular skill that your team needs, then you go to the next phase, which is what I call to define the talent needs that you now basically need. Are you looking to recruit somebody who is, technically inclined to be able to achieve some roles or carry out some duties on your farm or your agribusiness generally? Or is the person you are looking to bring on board supposed to handle operations, or is it marketing? You can even look at it in respect to the the face of your business or your agri enterprise. Say, for instance, are you looking to expand and scale your business? Probably you've been working within a particular region and you want to expand to another region, and you're looking to bring in somebody who has experience or have worked within those regions and ensure that you are able to penetrate market adequately. Or it can even be you're looking at exporting and you want to bring somebody who has export experience to join your team. So when you're able to define this, of course, it now helps you with the third point, particularly when you're drafting out the job description of the person. And of course, that you're able to share with your audience or your community or whatever ways that you want to share and recruiting your new member. Why is this important? Because the job description that you put out there, or the job description that you draft out to bring in new people on board, will determine the kind or the quality of people that you bring on board. If your job description is shallow, it does not give adequate depth into what you need to achieve. What you notice that is at the end of the day, you bring in somebody on board and they're not able to deliver as expected. And then you now have to start training them, one. All right, so you notice that you have to start training them, or you have to now let them go and bring in another person, which is extra expense on the team. So ensure that once you are defining the job description, every necessary details that needs to go into, details from qualifications, to certifications, as the case may be, level of experience or years of experience, what they've been able to carry out, and all of those things. It's able to drive you to ensure that anybody that you are bringing in on board, you are screening them with all of this job description and criteria that you've highlighted or you've brought out, and ensure that at the end of the day, you get the right thing. And then the fourth point, which is one of the things that we are already doing with this community that we have here, is to tap into various agricultural communities. There are lots of, talents or platforms where you can share this beyond social media. Because again, you need to start asking yourself, what is the reach of your social media audience, or how are you able to reach more people? I am sure that African Food Changemaker, for instance, is a community that will help you to be able to access necessary talent. We have a lot of, so for instance, one of the things that I do, particularly when I want to recruit, is to speak with my network first and say, okay, I am looking for so-and-so talent. Do you have anybody that fits into it? And one of the, aside, referrals, of course, a recommendation, one of the things that this also does is that it also helps you to be able to give content, because if somebody is referring someone to you, you're able to be accountable to them. And I remember that one of the community that I am in, for every farm worker, the community is around, unskilled labor or semi-skilled labor, hiring and all. For any farm worker that does not do well in their in the farms that they go to, they snap the person, send the person's biodata and say, oh, this guy is not diligent, this guy is not doing well, beware of him. So if peradventure he has to leave that farm and go to another farm, the other farmers already know because they are in a community. And even if peradventure there are issues of theft and all of this is also shared among those platforms so that everybody is aware and they stay off. So these are some of the benefits of, sharing some of these opportunities or speaking with your with your communities or your network doors. And of course, one of the things that we've always been looking or we've not been looking really at is what I call internship. Internship is like a gold mine that ensures that, of course, you bring in talents. They might not be sophisticated, skilled as you're expecting, but one key thing that I look out for, and I think every agripreneur should look out for when they are hiring, is the passion. Does the person have passion for that particular, or what's called firm or business? And what is the drive of that person? Is the person just looking at, coming on board and getting paid and that's it? There is no go alignment. The person does not see himself, growing in the organization. These are some of the key things that we need to look out for when we are recruiting. And of course, like I mentioned in the 6 points here, I said focus on hiring individuals whose their vision or their goals align with the company's goal. And so for instance, if you are coming to work for me or as I recruit for other firms, I ask them, what do you want? What is your long-term goal? What is your short-term goal? How can I support you as an individual? How can my firm support you to achieve your goal? And one of the things that this does is that I am able to draft out, some specific programs, some specific activities, some specific tasks that aligns with the person's goal and also aligns with the company goal. So that way, as much as the person is working for my firm or working for any firm that they are working with, they also see a sense of purpose that, okay, I have this vision, I have this goal that I am going to achieve this and this year. And then with my work in this firm or in this company, I am doing that. There's a level of satisfaction. They are willing to, commit. There's a level of loyalty that they have to that firm. And then, of course, those are like the basics of hiring. And when you are also hiring, right, like I mentioned already, I would say that let your, key performance index, that's when you are onboarding them. Let's not ever skip onboarding. And I've noticed this a lot among agribusiness owners and even farm owners. As little as it is your laborers, ensure that you onboard them. Tell them what your goal is. Tell them what your vision is. Tell them what your mission is. Even if they do not understand it clearly, itemize all of these things, right? Then you list the key performance index that you will use to measure their tasks, such that at the end of the day, nobody feels cheated or nobody feels undervalued, as the case may be. So like I mentioned, let your vision, your mission be shared with your team, then encourage open communication. Let's not have agribusinesses that, at the end of the day, every suggestions, some people will have ideas that can drive the vision of the firm, but because there's no open communication, there's no feedback to say, okay, oh, I thought, oh, you would have done this better, or you should have, aligned this, oh, this is amazing work, but I think this can be done better. These are some feedbacks that encourage teams to know that, yes, they are valued, and of course, they grow together with the firm. And as much as possible, let's recognize and reward teams' achievements. And most times, really, it does not boil down to, extra tips or money. Yes, as much as some of these things are important, right? It can be as acknowledging them in meetings. Oh, this is our best staff of the week. This and this was what they were able to achieve for us. This was what they did. And, applaud them, give them positive remarks. This boosts their morale and say, okay, I think I am doing well. I can do better. And then, of course, as far as we can go, compensate them as much as we can. So ensure that, yes, they are seen, they are valued, and of course, they feel relevant in the organization. But way beyond each and every of these things, there's also a need for you to ensure that you constantly empower your team. And empowerment can be as small as encouraging your team to read maybe a particular book. It can be weekly, can be monthly, right? And so within this month, this is the book that we are reading. And then you bring, you come up with a review section. Okay, what have you learned from this? It might not even be book. It can be, situations about the economy. Oh, what do you think about the economy? Some of these things make them to think better, and putting that perspective into the business, they're able to say, oh, this is what is happening, or this is is what I've learned. I think from this, we can do this. I can adjust my activities or what I do to ensure that, yes, it aligns. That way you are empowering them, you are building them, and of course, ensure that they take ownership to initiatives as much as possible. I have my own farm. I have teams that work with me. I have interns that work with me. I tell them this, of course, this is the farm, this is all of the activities. Oh, they noticed this challenge. I asked them first, what do you think this challenge is? Go and make your research. And then you come and then we discuss it. By the time we discuss it, then I'm able to say, okay, yes, you've done well. This is the right answer. Or I will say, okay, no, this is what it looks like. And then we could have open communication. That way you're encouraging them to be able to take initiative and ensure that, yes, they learn and grow generally. Can we go to the next slide? And I hope we are learning one or two things from all of our discussion. I'm trying to, as much as possible, to make it interactive. And so I will just rush through some of these things that way beyond hiring. There's also a need for you to be able to build the performance and culture that you have or you want in your system. Everything, right? As much as you've hired somebody into your team, they are coming from a different perspective. They are coming from a different firm, or they might not even have worked in a particular firm as you onboard them. They might be entry-level roles, they can be interns and all of those things. You need to speak and share and tell them what exactly you want them to deliver. Let there be a standard operating procedures and say, okay, for every morning that you come, this and this and this are the major tasks that you need to clear. This is what I expect you to do. Or by the end of this week, I expect that you have done A, B, C. And one of the ways that we can also, of course, assess the performance or the quality of the team that we currently have, like I mentioned here, you have survey. You can carry out a survey among your team to determine what are the areas that they've been looking to, learn, build their skills. What are those skills that they think can enhance their work to be able to deliver better? You can carry out a SWOT analysis. That's, the strengths, their weakness and narratives. What are those opportunities or threats that they feel? And then that way, you're able to understand your team better. And then you're able to bring them on board and then drive every necessary change. And when I say sales, a lot of agripreneurs, particularly those of us that are on the field or work on the farm, we do not set SMART goals. And when I say SMART goals, I mean goals that are specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and then they are time bound. SMART goals, particularly, you see that a lot of people say, I want to achieve so ton. From a small area, right? You know that with every metrics, it is not possible for you to achieve it. But because you are bringing in somebody on your team, you expect the person to do magic. So most times we need to be able to set SMART goals and say, okay, this week, or from this production, we want to achieve so kg. From processing this facility, if we slaughter, say, 10 kg or 100 kg of chicken, this is what we are expecting to get at the end of the day, that we've defeathered, deboned, and done all of these things. Such that at the end of the day, you know that, yes, you are making progress. Of course, you are taking record, you are taking data. And where it is necessary, provide resources and inputs or equipment that will ensure that their work is achieved, that makes their work easier. And this is also boils down to a lot of us that are farmers. We'll see that once, you want your worker to work, and which is what I tell people a lot of time, right? We are all humans. We are bound to break down. We are not even machines, right? There is a wear and tear action that happens. So we also need to ensure that, yes, to support their work, to enhance their work. Sometimes we can get as small as, simple farm machinery tools that can make their work easy. In processing, for instance, peeling or cutting machine that makes that, whatever it is they're doing, it is faster, it is smoother. And then that way they are not always exhausted every day. They go back home, they come back the next day, and then they are worried about, am I sure that we live or survive, on this business? Because one of the things that we see is that a lot of agripreneurs now overuse staff. And then what you see is that most people now, of course, leave the firm, stop working, and then we complain at the end of the day that there are not enough talent. Meanwhile, people that are willing to work, in the sector, we are chasing them away with some of the actions or activities that we're doing. And the last point I'll talk about here is learn to adapt and adjust. agriculture is evolving every single day. Every single thing is changing, from your strategy, what you might have had in your vision board when you started your firm. You need to, of course, visit them periodically and say, okay, this is the state that we are in our team. This is the state that the firm is. We need to go to the next stage. Oh, what do we need to adjust? What do we need to put in place to ensure that at the end of the day, we achieve what we need to do and do it together with your team? And so when we talk, of course, then we go to development. Now, how do we develop talent within our organization to ensure that they grow, right? And of course, they stay, or we are able to retain them, and then they work with us at the end of the day. First, of course, is, like I mentioned already, continue upskilling, reskilling them. Learning never ends, and it also boils down to agribusiness or agripreneur or even talent there. Ensure that the talent, skills, and their expertise are always enhanced. Connect them to trainings. For instance, what's called African Food Changer is already providing training, free training opportunities are there. Get your team members registered. Tell them, okay, this month, this program is what you need to attend, or ensure that you attend this webinar, and ensure that you attend this workshop. What it does for them is it speaks a language of, yes, the owner of the firm, the firm is particular about my growth. But way beyond the growth also, they're also able to have a broader understanding of the food system generally and say, okay, oh, this is what is happening. Sometimes, right, they might know what is happening, but it's difficult for them to be able to articulate it and take necessary steps. But attending trainings, attending workshop, attending programs, and sometimes can even be attending industry events to say, okay, this program is happening, it's the physical events, go there first, you're networking, you're speaking, you're hearing a lot of speakers talk about, their experience, and you're saying, oh, this is an approach, a strategy that we can put on board on our team and ensure that we achieve what we need to achieve. What this does for you is that it builds your team, and your team is able to build the system that you need for it to be able to function and do very well. And then another critical thing, which is one of the major reasons, right? Because of course I've had to work particularly in this area. One of the major reasons why youth do not want to come into the agricultural sector, or those who come, you see that they run out of the agricultural sector, is because there's little to no career advancement when it comes to agriculture or most agribusiness. They come on your team, there's no plan for growth, and say, okay, within maybe so years, you've achieved so, and so, you've gone for this program, you've gone for extra certification, you've gone for this training, we see that, oh, you've grown over years, you can say, okay, yes, this is, the next phase that you go to. There's just no clear career advancement. You just come on the team, you keep working, and then at the end of the day, we see or they see their colleagues in other industry, tech, manufacturing. Okay, let's use tech today. Everybody know, okay, you start as a junior software developer. Tomorrow or in the next few years, you're a senior developer. Obviously, imagine them now coming to the agricultural sector that they have passion for, and agric is not supporting them. So as much as possible, I would say that as agripreneurs, as business owner, as even somebody working in an agricultural firm, let there be a distinct career plan or growth plan. And this, of course, should constantly be communicated to them and say, oh, this and this are what we are looking for. Or say, for instance, oh, we will be looking to recruit this role, or we will be scaling our business to be able to drive this. These are the major skills that we need, or these are the roles that we need to employ, such that if they need to go for extra learning, extra certification, they're able to get themselves equipped, and then they're able to grow in that firm. And one of the things that this does for them is to say, okay, they look back and say, okay, this was where I started. I have grown significantly, and grown in not just the knowledge that they have, but of course, in terms of, their confidence, how they're able to handle operations on farm, deals, and all of those things generally. Are we together? Sorry. Sorry, can anybody still hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, sorry, thank you. All right, can we go to the next slide, please? And of course, some of the major things when it comes to developing your team or your skill generally, like I also mentioned, let there be a positive work environment. Let as much as possible. I know a lot of agribusiness say, oh, your team is not supposed to be a family. It depends on the culture that you are building on your team, right? But I would say let people feel they are relevant in the firm. Let them feel like their opinion counts. Let them feel like they matter. And of course, there's respect, there's collaboration, like I mentioned. Let there be inter-collaboration within members and even outside the team so that they're able to grow. And like I mentioned already, employees recognition, and one of the major things about farmers, even for agribusiness owners, one of the things that we've not been taking relevant actions or relevant notices, let there be a work-life balance. Agric is overwhelming, or agriculture can be overwhelming. As a business owner, as the talent in the business or agribusiness as the case may be. So create avenues where your team are able to bond with extracurricular activities. It can be as simple as a board game, a chess game. I've seen teams that do that every Friday evening. Yours can be once in a month. Yours can be maybe 3 times, once in every 3 months. Just create some bonding activities that just eases off the stress. Let them know that, okay, yes, we are connecting together way beyond work. Of course, we are also trying to tone everything and ensure that everything balanced. And above all, which is like major last point that we'll talk on under developing talent, is that ensure that interview you conducted at the beginning, you stay interviewing. And when I say stay interviewing, that means conduct regular interviews with your employees. At the beginning of when they join the firm, they have the specific goals that they want to achieve and all of those things. Still conduct some interviews, from surveys, and all of those things, and say, okay, those goals that you wanted to achieve, those activities that you said you wanted to do, and all of those things, right? Have you been able to grow so far with the firm? How can the firm support you? This speaks language of, loyalty, language of trust, language that, okay, this person is also particular about my growth and development generally. So thank you all very much. I hope I've been able to speak adequately to all of this discussion. And of course, I left extra room for questions and answer for any one of us that have question and answer, because agriculture, like we know, we all learn every day. So for anyone who has any questions questions generally, you can bring it on board. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chidima, and that was very interesting and engaging topic. I believe our audience also have some questions. Most of them here can relate very well to the topic. We have agribusiness owners that manage teams, manage staffs as well. So I don't know, members on the call, if you have questions for our speaker, kindly unmute, raise your hand or unmute and let you speak. Alternatively, you can also drop your questions in the chat box and we'll pick it up from there. But if you wish to speak, you can raise your hand and my team members will unmute you for you to speak. Thank you so much, Chidima. Okay, someone is asking, kindly share PPT for future reference. Definitely. So if you've been attending our first Thursday sessions or our regular in monthly knowledge share sessions, we do share key takeaways. We do share all the presentation slides with attendees after the event, along with the thank you emails. So if it's about the presentation, definitely you will get access to the presentation. But if you have questions relating to the topic, if you have questions for the speaker, please kindly unmute and ask your question or drop them in the chat box. This is a very engaging discussion and it relates to what we do as entrepreneurs. So I'm shocked that we don't have questions. Okay, I might be missing out on some chat engagement with team members.
Okay.
If you have questions from...
I think there are 3 people raising their hands so far.
Okay, so I was not seeing it from my hand. Okay, and let's hear from Elgosa. Kindly unmute and ask your question, Elgosa.
Okay. Good evening, good evening, sir. Good evening, ma. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, I can hear
Hello?
you.
Okay. Thank you so much, ma, for this session. This was, lack of a better word, powerful. So a quick question, ma. I'm a business owner and I I'm into groundnut business. I do it in university, schools, and retail shops. So I would like to ask, at what point do you allow your business grow to before you think of employing or hiring a talent or a skill? Because you mentioned something like you have to have a proper vision and where you are seeing your business. Then when you bring people in, you're able to show them, okay, this is what I want to do, this is what we want to achieve. Then you grow them. So at what point you just keep going like that, or there's a particular point you get to, it's time to employ people. And secondly, I work from home, so I do my processing at home. I don't have a proper shop or a working store yet. So what would be your advice for me? Thank you, ma.
Do I answer that now, or do I take all the questions together?
Okay, whichever works for you. Do you want to take all questions together or answer one by one?
Okay, I think I will just answer one by one.
Okay, please go ahead.
All right, so thank you very much for your question. And sincerely, I think data is the best to speak to when you are supposed to, hire or bring in a particular talent to your team. So for instance, I don't know the scale at which you produce currently. I don't know what, your revenue is saying. Oh, do you have enough revenue to bring in somebody on board to support what you are currently doing? And then if you are bringing
Look, hi Chidima, are you still with us? Okay, so maybe we'll have to wait for her to join back, but I believe I can still answer a few questions on the call. I'm seeing some questions from the chat box, something about a template that we can use to help the process of interviewing or goal setting in regards to agribusiness. Yeah, so for my own, I think there are a lot of templates available online. We are in a digital world, like the speaker said. So whichever templates you are looking to use for your agribusiness, you can definitely find any of the template that fits into your business online. We have AI tools that can even create templates for you, which you can just manipulate and use for your business. So I think that answers that. And checking if I have our speakers on the call back. Okay, yes. So Chidima, please, you can speak.
All right, so thank you for that addition that you also add to it. So like I mentioned, right, you are in the best position to determine when you want to bring in a particular team member. But I would say generally, listen to what data is saying. And I mean, when I say data in respect to revenue, for instance, data in respect to your workload. And so, for instance, it will make no sense if you are bringing in an extra person on board and you are not and the person is not adequately utilized, right? So if you're expanding, for instance, you want to supply more supermarkets, like you mentioned, you are currently working with some schools for it already. Is the workload getting much? Do you want to expand to more supermarkets? And then you need somebody who handles operations, and then you add marketing, or you need somebody who handles or vice versa, basically. So I would say that listen to your revenue, listen to what all of these data are saying generally, and then bring in somebody that is able to drive the vision that you have for your business. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. So I think we also have a few questions on the chat box, but before that, let's hear from Aisha or Ibanji. Please unmute and ask your question.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, we can.
All right. Thank you so much. I really appreciate Chidima. It's like you know what is hitting us in this agribusiness. Thank you for that insightful section. I really appreciate you. Like your story, I'm experiencing the same thing. In fact, it happens to me this year. So my question now is that, can I use this strategy? Maybe I know I need like 6 laborers on my farm. Can I create a link and roll it out to youth that are interested? Normally if I hire this labor, I will pay them. So it will be in form of training. At the same time, they will do that work that I needed to hire labor for. So they will be getting stipend. Can it work, or I should switch to another option? Because as far as I'm talking to you presently, I'm even planning. I've gotten some machines to divert into value addition, because some of my produce last year, because of this glut in the market, that the price is still crashing. So I decided to process my sorghum into sorghum flour, like all this Movita, which I've started doing that. Though I've not packaged it yet, but I've acquired the machine, the product, the sorghum is there. So I'll be the one milling it for myself. Then I'm designing the brand I want to be using. So my question is that, if I use that strategy, will it work for me, or you have an advice? Thank you so much.
Okay, so the strategy you're talking about is one of the common strategies that a lot of farmers are currently using down south here, because like I mentioned, labor is a very scarce commodity, if I'll use that word. So work and learn is what a lot of people call it. You come to work, you learn, and then some people go as far as work, learn, and earn. That means you work, you learn, and of course, you're able to earn at the end of the day. So if you try the strategy where you are current and it works, then I think you can continue to adopt it. Another thing that we do from our own end is what we call internship opportunities. So we run a career fair where we basically engage with various agricultural students in various institutions in Nigeria, where we educate them about career opportunities. But beyond educating them about career opportunities in agriculture, for their internship placements, their IT placements, we connect them with agribusinesses that need them to work for them. And so you can also look at, coming on board, getting agricultural IT students within your location, or people that are interested in learning, and then they want, because I get a lot of people who say, oh, they are coming into the agricultural sector, they want to learn and all of those things. They are willing to volunteer. They want to be mentored. These are a very good start for entry-level roles that you can bring them on board. So you are training them, and of course, they are also learning and working for you. So these are some of the strategies that I think you can really use to beat the labor challenge. And like I mentioned in my presentation, you can also get some simple tools. The few ones that you get on board to work with you, for instance, provide some simple tools. It can be, a weeder, for instance, that does weeding on farm, so they don't have to start using hoe and cutlass to weed. Can be some basic simple machine, like you mentioned, we've gotten some machines, and it's there for them to operate it. So that way, they are not the labor. It's not labor intense work that they are coming to do, and then they feel like a part of the system and then work generally. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Chidima. Yeah, thank you, Aisha. I
You're
can
welcome.
see in Muba, if you want us to unmute you, kindly raise up your hand so that we can identify you on the call, because we can't see your hand raised. And I can see some interesting questions on the chat box. But before that, let's hear from Famous. Famous, kindly unmute and speak.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. Can you hear me? Good afternoon, good evening, depending on when you are hearing your location.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much, Denma, for that insightful section. I already dropped my question in the chat box, but I will also ask now. Can you speak to the cost of hiring and the level of experience or expertise of the people to hire with respect to the cost?
All right, so the cost of hiring really vary per location, per role. And because of competition with a lot of industries out there, right, we'll see that at the end of the day, it is really difficult to keep good talent on board working in the agricultural sector, which is one of the major challenges that a lot of agribusiness, particularly SMEs, have been facing. So I would say that most times, really, it depends on your location. So, for instance, I'm in the southwestern part of Nigeria, and I also get to work with a lot of farmers. If you are paying a Yoruba guy in person now, because I'm in the southwest, you are paying a Yoruba guy to work as a laborer for you. They charge you roughly around 3-5 or say 4,000 naira, sometimes 5,000 naira per day, depending on the work. I have a client that I consult for in Benin City for horticultural crop production also. And because this labor issue was also pertinent there, they had to get malams that work for them. And these people charge per depending on the work. If they are coming to make ridges, it's a different negotiation. If you are coming to weed, it's a different negotiation. And so, but if you go to the north, for instance, the north has like an almost leveled daily pay that's what's called manual laborer or semi-skilled laborers get over there. So I would say the cost really depends on your location. But if you go to cities, for instance, they are more expensive. So if I speak from experience on what we currently do, because again, one of the things that we've noticed is that a lot of farm owners, we employ one person. The person is the farm manager. The person is the agronomist. The person is the sales representative. 4 or 5 rows, and then you are paying that person, peanuts, right? I've had people that come and tell me that it's not just the farm manager. The farm manager can collect 50,000 naira. Now, imagine you are bringing somebody on your farm, and these are large farms. You are bringing somebody on farm to work for you, and then you also want that they are seeing, of course, they are the one handling your farm. They are seeing how much you are making out of the farm, and you expect that some of these tests and all of those things does not happen. So what we do basically is to put like a benchmark and say, for those that have this years of experience, this is how much the benchmark should be. This is what the minimum should be. Then we leave negotiations between talent and agribusiness owner. Agribusiness owner can say, okay, I think I can pay this amount. I think I can pay this amount. So I can tell you for free that if you are employing anybody that works in the field, say farm manager or agronomist and all of those things from our end, if the person has like 1 year to 2 years experience, the minimum you pay the person is 100,000 naira. You will now determine what you want to negotiate with the person that we are able to, provide for you and all of those things. And then the higher the experience, also the higher the what's it called, you pay. You can't expect to get somebody with 5 years experience who has worked and is able to deliver value, and then you are paying the person 100,000 naira. For us, it does not work. So as much as possible, we also ensure that you get people that are able to deliver value for you. And that's what we do. If they don't deliver, we replace them and then we bring another person for you, because I am a farmer. I work in the agricultural sector. And some, I would say that I've worked in the whole value chain of human resource. I work as a laborer on my farm. I worked as a laborer on people's farm. I've managed my own farm. I run my own firm now. So I would say to an extent, I understand what these two parties are saying. So as much as possible, a fair or a middle point is what is best, so that everybody, of course, is satisfied. When we talk about, food security, there's also an employment security that ensures that, okay, I am satisfied, I am happy with what I am earning wherever I am working. I hope that answers your question.
I believe so, even if I'm not the one that asked this. Employment, what was the last word? Employment scarcity, yeah. So we have some questions on the chat box as well. We have one from Godwin Emmanuel. Considering that we are SMEs, how would you balance career projection for staff to payroll costs? And he also has a follow-up question, which is, what's your experience on high employee turnover?
Okay, really for SMEs, like I mentioned, as much as possible, because one of the things we see with SMEs is that of course there's low funds in the team, the business is just starting up. I would say that as much as possible, I hire from an entry level role. And what this does for you is that you are able to connect activities. So I'll tell you, for instance, on my team, right? Majority of people that are currently working with me came in as interns, or they want to call members, for instance. So because I go to train core members and I get core members who come to work with me. Oh, they're interested in this one. I bring them in on board as interns. And of course, you know that, okay, you're providing just something that they're able to work with. What I'm able to do, for instance, with this as an SME is that I am balancing my accounts. I am not overspending on salary. And sometimes, really, again, it depends on the kind of work that you do. Some of this role can be remote work. They don't have to come to the office, you know. They also have their time to be able to do some other things. That way, you're also able to
Okay, I believe network keeps kicking our speaker on and off. Okay, she's back.
apologies once more. It's raining. It's been raining all day here, so the internet connection is just not stable. So I would say, really, when it comes to balancing, you know, particularly payroll and then career projection, one of the things that I've had to do with my team is say, okay, what do you want to achieve? I've had interns who come to, you know, work with us because, oh, we are an HR firm. They studied Greek, but they are not interested in you in the field work. They are interested in the HR work, and they don't have certification. So they come on board as an intern to work on my firm. And I say, okay, this and this and this. I see the passion that they are putting in on board. I see what they are going through. And I say, okay, we are able to compensate you with so and so amount. So I'll say that as much as possible. When it comes to balancing, particularly for SME and payroll, I'll say draft out what works for your firm. And now for SMEs, you know that, you know, the volume that you're able to do varies per SME. So I'm not able to say this is exactly how you should be able to do it, right? But when it comes to payroll, I would say at least, you know, we have a minimum, you know, salary structure for the country. Put the minimum there such that they're able to work on it. And if it's possible for you to have, you know, contract staff, for instance, those that, you know, pay them based on commission and say, oh, yeah, achieve so and so target, then you get all of these things. So that way you're able to support your business and grow better.
Thank you, Chidima. Before we let you go, I think we have two more questions. One from Ismail. Samuel raised his hand earlier, but he dropped it off. Maybe you've answered this question. So Ismail, kindly ask your question.
Thank you, Mr. Noga. Can we hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Mine is not really a question. It's just something that has been working for me. So I want to share it with us for free. So what it is that if you have an agripreneur, you hire an employee, and your mind is you want to give the person salary of, let's say, 80,000. You understand? Negotiate like maybe 60,000 or 70,000 with the employee. Then the remaining 10,000 or 20,000, spread this as maybe allowance, maybe weekly allowance, or just bonus. They're just like, oh, you tried, take. Oh, you did this very well, take. That thing from personal experience, it really works. And it boosts employee morale. It really works. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ismail. And I think before Chidima answers that, there's a question from Marceline that maybe also buttress your questions. It says, you talked about high turnover of good jobs. So how do you manage with salaries? How do you manage salaries? Then there's a one from Emmanuel as well that says, what kind of agribusiness space can a young entrepreneur enter with a minimum of 200K? That's 200,000 in Nigerian currency. Please meet you. Okay. Okay. So Chidima, if we can address those questions.
Okay, so answering Marceline's question on high turnover in agri job, how do you manage this? So you see, like I mentioned, high turnover basically talks about probably the workers are not satisfied. That means almost every week you are recruiting, or almost every month, yeah, you have to recruit. Then you need to really ask some basic questions. Now, so way beyond that, they are leaving. You might get to speak to some of them and say, okay, for instance, why are they leaving? Is it the working condition, for instance? Is the environment not they don't see any growth, for instance? And sometimes really we need to be sincere, which is why I mentioned during my presentation that you need to carry out periodic surveys with your team, periodic interviews, speak with them, which is one of the things that the team bonding does for us. When you create team bonding activities, they are able to share their mind and say, oh, this is what they are experiencing, and sincerely listen to feedback. Sometimes it can be as simple as a suggestion box that you put, in some corner of your office, and then they're able to, drop some of this thing anonymously. And then that way you're able to know what exactly are the challenges that they are facing. Because trust me, people living firm happens. Nobody, you cannot get somebody on your firm, or I would say that to a large extent, not everybody that comes to work with you, we grow with you. Some, of course, we outgrow the system. Some, of course, we maybe see better opportunities, and all of these things happen. But when this happens periodically, like almost every single time, then you need to carry out some necessary surveys, some necessary interviews, some necessary discussions with the current team that you have, maybe, and then with the affected candidates, and say, okay, what are the challenges, or why are they leaving, particularly if it is not because of a better job, and then it's almost the same, payment. I've seen farm workers, for instance, who said, oh, they want to leave a particular farm and go to work in another farm, that they don't even mind, being paid less. And then I'm asking exactly, okay, what is that challenge that you are facing on your own farm? Because if you leave, I bring another person to work on that farm, the person will also face the challenge. Sometimes it might be with a group, and it might be like we drafting out the necessary things that ensure that they're able to, grow and work together. So I would say have communication, communicate with the necessary people, communicate with your team. That way, you're able to know what exactly is their pain point and then address it. Then the person that asked question about a young agripreneur or entrepreneur, what kind of agri space can a young entrepreneur enter with minimum of 250? Okay, I'm not sure I understand this. So is this like, is person looking for a job, for instance, or is person looking to start an enterprise for 200K? Because the question looks both ways, really. So I think the person needs to clarify on that.
Okay, I think while we wait for the person to clarify on the chat box, let's take questions from Samuel Azuko. Samuel, please unmute. And after Samuel, you might have just 2 other questions to be taken because of time. So please, Samuel, unmute and speak.
Yeah, good afternoon or good evening. Thank you very much, Rima, for your well-deserved presentation. It is a mind-blowing one, and the experience carried out and told in the presentation, well, as knowledge of employment and how to going about in terms of agricultural hiring. But what I want to ask, several questions. I wanted to ask, how can we equate hiring and in terms of profit marginalization in agriculture? And also, maybe you have answered that one. I want to ask, what are the remote work in agriculture that can earn one up to $200 to $200 in a spot? So I want to know, is there any remote work that can such? like just like an IT? That's what I want to ask. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm not sure that I heard the last question, but for what's it called, remote job, and which is the beauty of the current ecosystem that we have. A lot of agri work are actually remote. So for instance, the most common one are the ones that we know around, brand management. We see a lot of people take remote job around virtual assistants. Now, for those that are active on the field, particularly, agripreneurs, they are always very busy. They do not have time to, attend some meetings, attend to some, necessary activities, responding to their messages and DMs. I know for people that have messaged me, particularly on Facebook, I have messages that have not responded to Facebook for a long time. There are people who hire, people to be able to handle some of this agricultural work. So you have a virtual assistant, for instance. You have social media manager, for instance. You have, in recent times, we've seen more around brand imaging and communication. People who basically works around, graphic design. How do they speak to your audience in the language that they understand? And this is beyond, creating content. It's about the images that go there. How do they position your brand right? How do they market it? So for instance, we see people do email marketing and all of those marketing. All of these things are some remote jobs that you can do to be able to, of course, and now depending on the size of the firm, right? Some of these firms also, for instance, those that have data analytics skills and all of these things, they do a lot of these things remote. I currently have somebody on my team, right? That works as our brand person and is working with three other businesses, and he's also earning from them, right? And he has his own job that he's doing and he's delivering it effectively. And so this person, like I tell you, if I calculate the person's earning in a year, in a month alone, is way beyond 300, 400K, just from the brand deals that he got beyond his own personal business. So these are some of the, remote jobs that in agriculture that are coming up that, that young people are taking into today to be able to earn and do very well. Because I think the second person, or the person in the comment said, with a budget of 200K, what agribusiness sector can a young person really explore? Okay, I'm not sure this question should be for me, really. But for 200K, sincerely, okay, I'm more into the horticultural sector, so I would say focus more on marketing. And when I say about marketing, reach out to agribusinesses within your area, within your location. Bargain with them, discuss with them. What you're basically doing is middleman, or middleman as they call it. Often from them, sell to other people, right? And then that way you're able to gain enough capital to be able to do whatever it is that you want to do. And then and as much as possible, let it be in the sector that you're interested or you have passion for. So if you have passion, for instance, for the poultry industry, you can reach out to poultry farmers around your area, or you make a bargain with them. You can sell so crates of egg for them, say daily or weekly. You take from them, you sell, and then of course you remit to them. You continue that way. And you can also do it across, various sectors, various value chains of the agricultural sector. That way, you're able to raise necessary capital. But sincerely, from my own point from my own point, I would say 200K is quite small for you to come into the agricultural sector now. Thank you.
Thank you. So let's hear finally from Ismail. Please ask your question. Or maybe he has asked this question for. Let me find it again. So I'm seeing a follow-up question from Marceline. He said, thanks for the first question, but you didn't answer to the second one regarding salaries. How do you manage with salaries? Thanks. So I think she's concerned about how managing salaries with your staff. If you can shed more light on that for her.
Okay, so I would speak in respect to, okay, maybe generally to both my skill, because I have both semi-skilled, which is the farm laborers, and then the skilled staff that I work with. For my farm laborers, or for anybody that got farm laborers for me this year, there's a base salary structure that I work with, which is 70,000 naira. That's how much I pay my staff, right? But I had to spread it and say they get to be paid 50,000 naira monthly. And then they, what's called, the agribusiness owner keeps 20,000 naira. That 20,000 naira is what will accumulate. By the end of the year, they get it. So automatically, for worker that came to work with me from January, by the end of the year, is expected, or of course, is expected to get 240,000 naira. So that's one of the structure that I had to put in place for my semi-skilled worker. And why did I have to do that or put that in place generally? One, because of course, like I've mentioned, I've had situations where you bring worker to work on your farm, you pay them full salary at the end of the month, they disappear, they run into TN and all of those things. So this for me, I tell them is a saving, it's a commitment that, okay, I am saving this for you. By the end of the year, yeah, you get it. Now, I also have people who work for me based on contracts, right? You do this, you achieve your goal at the end of the day, you get to see this amount. In Yoruba, we say that ogata, it does not work for such kind of person, because basically what you are able to turn over determines what you are paid at the end of the day. That's the second part ahead. So I have people that work for me, and these are majorly my remote workers, that people that work for me, remotely and all of those things. You meet the expected targets, that we'll discuss when you came on board to work with me and all of those things. You are able to do this, then this is what you get at the end of the month. They know it, and then they work with that. And then I have people, of course, who are permanent staff. Most of my permanent staff are people who work with me in field-related activities when I go to consult for farms, for instance. So they are always up and doing, they are always there. So for these people, I have like a fixed salary structure that I work with them. So how am I able to manage salary structure? Really, that is why we are entrepreneurs, we are risk takers. So it is not left for you to be able to devise strategies that ensure that at the end of the month, you're able to pay salary. I've had situation where my overhead was more than I can guess, and I had to tell staff that, okay, at this point that we currently are, we do not have enough. For those who would also we have two options. It's either we reduce the population that we currently have so that we are able to just manage those that are able to grow with us, one, or we work at we have a reduction in the salary structure per se, and then at the end of the day, I am also able to pay you. But really, for me, more of what I work is I employ as I grow. When I started my business, I had just one person who was working with me, and that person has been working with me all till today. But the person works remotely and it's amazing. When I had to bring in the second person, it was because there was demand, which is one of the reasons why I was saying earlier on that when you're employing in respect to demand, there was increased demand. And then I knew that, okay, with this increased demand, if I bring extra person on board, we are able to pay that person. Because I have what's it called, a system that I work with. If I cannot pay you by the end of the month, it's better I don't bring you on board. Or I just know that you're working, even as a volunteer, right? I still give you tips at the end of the day to say, okay, thank you for supporting the firms and all of those things. So I would say as much as possible, if you as the owner of the firm might have to work extra, really, to pay salary or take extra loads on your own end, right? And cut down your team, whatever structure works for you, put it in place and ensure that at the end of the day, your business is growing. And then, of course, you're able to pay people that work for you generally. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So we don't have much time any longer, and we would like to appreciate our speaker. Thank you for sharing those insights with our audience. I believe everyone on this call has one or two key takeaways from your session. And it's a tradition at our community that we have a group photograph with our speakers. So it's time for everyone to put on their smiley faces and open up your video, share your video so we can take our pictures together, and you can also share these pictures across your social media platform so you can testify that you came and you also learned from the session. So let's put on our smiling faces. Let's have our videos on, and so our team members can also take, yeah. So team members, if we are good to go, on the count of three, we take our pictures with our smiling faces. Moshood, please smile. Turn your teeth. Yes, you can hear me. Okay, yeah, hi, I like Abdulrahman is smiling a lot. Yes, you have a nice smile. Okay, let's go. Smile, don't raise up your hand, just on your video and smile. Question is over. Okay, team members, let's go. On the count of three. One, two, three, go. Okay, so thank you so much. Thank you so much, Chidima, for having to engage us today and share your wonderful insights. I personally have learned a lot from what you've shared, and I believe the community members as well has also learned a lot. So before we go, we have 10 minutes to do our normal tradition, which is to know you should understand the knowledge that you've shared. So we have a quiz we do by the end of the month, and the winners are also spotlighted in our community. So I'll be putting up the screen now so we can participate in the quiz, and let me know when it reflects on your hand. So we have a first Thursday quiz that we do for every of the sessions that we partake in, and it's more of a 5 minutes, 5 questions, and the top winner from the quiz is being spotlighted in our community in the following week or following months before the next session. So if you can see the interaction from your hand, kindly confirm. And my colleague will also drop the link in the chat box for us to join. It's just to test our knowledge on what we've learned so far from the speaker. So I would want us to start joining the quiz before I start the questions. So team members, let's share the link in the chat box. So far, no participant has joined. So confirm that you can see the poll interaction in front of you and click on join. Okay, I can see the link is being shared in the chat box. Yes, we've seen people joining. Thank you, Abiola. Yes. So we have up to 20. We can start the poll. I want to see who our winner is for today. Team members, please don't participate. This is strictly for community members. Okay, we have 70 participants. I need 3 more and we start. 2 more. Okay. So once you see the screen, you have 30 seconds for each question. It's just a scenario-based question based on what you've learned today, and feel free to answer. So we have the first question open up now. You have 27 seconds more. As a staff member in your agribusiness, has a strong technical skills but struggle with teamwork and communication. What developmental approach would you best address this issue? So let's see, fastest finger. Four more seconds to go. Okay. So for Emeka is leading the pack. Thank you, Emeka. Next question. Your agribusiness is expanding and you need to hire a farm manager. You want someone with practical field experience, knowledge of sustainability practices, and the ability to lead a team. What is the best hiring approach? So let's see. Remember, the fastest finger wins. Okay. Let's see if Emeka is still leading the pack. Okay. Next question. We have 2 more questions to go. Aisha runs a food processing business with high staff turnover. Exit interviews shows most staff leave due to lack of growth opportunities. what's the most strategic solutions for Aisha and her business? I believe Chidima addressed this as well in her presentation. Okay. Oh, Emeka has dropped. Now we have a new winner. Next question, the fourth question, second to the last. Your agri-tech startup is in the growth phase. You need a diverse team to bring in fresh ideas and perspectives, but you keep hiring from the same pool of investing interns. What can you do differently? Okay. Let's see who's leading the pack. Emeka, you've lost your position. Julius has overtaken you. So to the final question, Emeka, I believe you can overtake Julius back. So let's see. The final question, a key member in your agribusiness often underperforms, but they have unique technical expertise. What's the most balanced way to manage this situation? This is very unique. Okay. So thank you so much for participating. Let's see who our final winner is. Julius. Wow. So if you're on the call, Oniya Julius, kindly wave your hand so we can do a shout out to you. You led the pack by answering all 5 questions correctly with a time of 0.56 seconds. Thank you for participating, and special shout out to Emeka as well. He came in second, then Perry came in third. So for Julius, if you're on the call, please put your hands up, let us spotlight you. And as I'm doing that, let me share my screen. Okay, don't pass. So Julius, thank you for participating, and to reveal your prize is an exclusive member spotlight for you. And as you know, at AFC, we are keen on always spotlighting our members and putting them on the global stage. So what you have to do is to reach out to the communications team or the membership team after this call and share your email details with us so that we can engage you further. Our membership email is membership@afchub.org, while the communications email is info@afchub.org. You can reach out to any of the 2 emails and we engage you further to spotlight you. Thank you for participating in this short quiz. And over to the next step for our community members. Remember, we said we launched the BRACE program, Building Resilience Against Climate and Environmental Shocks. And if you are a member on this call and you have not registered or applied for that program, please do so. We also have our regular events coming up. We have the experience session in the membership group, which happens bi-weekly every Wednesday in the WhatsApp community. So if you're a member and you have been missing out on this engagement, please look forward to joining us. It's an informal way of discussing situations, discussing challenges, discussing opportunities as entrepreneurs. And you might not know, you might find someone who is looking for your challenge or who has solutions to your challenges and who is also looking for a way of partnering with you. And it's an informal way of engaging and networking with other entrepreneurs. We have referral initiative on the on your dashboard where you can also refer more entrepreneurs to join the community. We have the OES session coming up next 2 weeks on the 17th of July, where we have experts in the export space come to address our community members as well. Then the marketplace where you can spotlight your product or services, just upload your product on the marketplace, and you'll be shocked that the referrals you get to your market product or your services as well. And lastly, we have the know your member. So we tell you to always upload your product and update your profile on your dashboard so that we can tailor the best opportunities for you. And by that way, we also give you access to networking opportunities, to funding opportunities that fits the profile that you share with us as well. So at this note, I would like to let you know that there are many ways you can stay connected to AFC. You also participate in our programs, follow us on our social media, and also participate in activities, like, comment, and share every African Food Maker social media post with your fellow entrepreneurs by spreading the words. Engage in our monthly membership and knowledge experience sharing sessions. You also utilize the marketplace and upload your product or services. Join our membership groups, Facebook, Telegram, WhatsApp, and LinkedIn groups, where you can also interact more with other entrepreneurs. Stay connected to the AFC membership community. Also engage with other entrepreneurs using your membership dashboard. Source for opportunities on the hub. We have a curated list of opportunities where you can find on the AFC hub access to opportunities from funding, events, capacity building, and even trainings or data that you can find to scale your businesses. Then lastly, remember to share the goodness of AFC with your colleagues or your network as well. So thank you, everyone. Subscribe to our newsletter. We share newsletter with our community every week, both weekly and monthly newsletters, where you can get more information, more activity about the agri-food space, and also connect with our initiative and activities. Our Instagram handle is African Food Chain Makers, both on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Telegram. Our website is www.afchub.org. Thank you for attending today's session, and see you next time. From my head is a good night.